What is going on, movie lovers? Welcome to yet another episode of Apocaflix Movie News, the podcast where we break down some of the biggest movie news stories throughout the week. I am your host, as always, Jacob Bartley, and I am joined again by who other than Gio Ramos. What's going on?
It's exciting times, man. One of the biggest movies of the year comes out this week. The Fate of the Furious. Fast and the Furious.
Yeah. 8. I hope it's good.
You thought they were stopping at 7? No. They got 3 more coming out. 8, 9, and 10. So strap in.
Yeah. I mean, I hope every movie is good. So I hope this movie's good. My only hope is F. Gary Gray delivers. I mean...
Charlize Theron.
Oh, she's great.
Yeah.
But she doesn't have any control over the movie. But her performance can be great. The movie could still suck. Yeah. So I haven't really watched anything other than Ghost in the Shell. Which no need to talk about, really. Yeah. If that doesn't tell you how we feel about it, then I don't know what does. But
it's disappointing.
I've been struggling through Iron Fist. It's not as bad as people make it out to seem. Right. And I've talked about this before. I think people love to capitalize on negativity. Yeah. They're like, oh, everyone says it sucks. I gotta think it sucks too, and it just snowballs, and everybody just keeps talking shit about it. Mm-hmm. It's not as bad as people are portraying it to be. It gets better. I'm on episode 9. It's getting better. Jennifer Henwig, the girl, the Asian actress who plays the girl who runs the dojo, is amazing. Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
And I didn't realize this, but she's in The Force Awakens.
Really?
She's the pilot. She's the Asian girl pilot in The Force Awakens.
Dang, how about that?
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people are talking about her from Mulan. I am all for that.
Yeah.
She's great, and she's gorgeous.
She's young, talented.
But other than Ghost in the Shell, I haven't really watched any other movies lately. Have you watched anything?
I've revisited a couple movies. The first Pirates of the Caribbean movie came out in 2003. God, that movie's so good, man.
It's great.
It just, man, Johnny Depp, I totally get why he got a Best Supporting Actor nomination for that movie. Who would have thought? A ride based off of, the movie's based off a ride, but the story was so compelling and so much action and adventure. And now we have a 5th one all the way.
Video game movies should take a hint from that.
They should, yeah. Uh-huh. And then I revisited Doctor Strange, as I told you.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right.
Much better the second time, guys. Give it a shot. Benedict Cumberbatch, he's great in the role, but for me, the standout again was Chiwetel Ejiofor as Baron Mordo.
And for me, Tilda Swinton.
Was
awesome.
Absolutely,
her character has more depth to it than you think after you rewatch the movie a few times.
And the story has much more heart the second time around. So.
And the way the world works makes a lot more sense too. I actually lied. I have gone to the movie theaters again since last week, and it was to watch Power Rangers.
There you go.
For the 4th time. I love that movie so much. And I also put out a review of the graphic novel, which is tied into the film. Go check that out on our YouTube channel. Yes. But anyways, let's talk about what we're here to talk about, which is some of the news stories throughout the week. So first up, we got something to do with Transformers. So while they may not be the best quality, the Transformers franchise continues to be extremely reliable when it comes to the box office. So much so that apparently Paramount and their writers' room have more than just a few spin-offs in mind. While speaking with MTV at the recent CinemaCon, director Michael Bay revealed that there are at least 14 Transformer movies ideas being thrown around, which includes both main and spin-off movies. One of those being the already official Bumblebee spin-off, which days later brought the news that the Bumblebee movie will in fact be a prequel to the Transformers we've seen so far. Bay's Transformers: The Last Knight hits theaters this summer on June 23rd. Gio, what do you make of these comments?
That Transformers will be around for a couple more decades.
And to me, this is not really news. His comments are news, but finding out that they're going to keep making them is
right. Yeah, there's a reason why they assembled that writer's room, and they got the talent that they got for that writer's room. It's because they want to keep this property going, but not only that, they want to make good stories. It's good to make a buttload of money every movie. But the difference between a Transformers and a Marvel movie is that those movies are critically acclaimed.
Exactly.
Those movies stay at a consistent level of greatness and box office profit. The last couple Transformers movies have slowly gone down domestically. Internationally, they're doing great. But here, I think people are starting to realize it's just more of the same, you know? So I think that Paramount's trying to take things seriously. For some reason, I've bought into this latest Transformers movie. Whether it's Michael Bay and what he did with 13 Hours, The Soldiers of Benghazi, or this Writer's Room. There's just a feeling inside me that this next one will be great. And I hope so. But it doesn't surprise me. 14 more Transformers movies. Not every one of those ideas will get made into a movie. But the Writer's Room, they've had some ideas. Let's wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a surprise to me at all. I could say the same thing about DC and Marvel. I guarantee DC and Marvel have at least 14 ideas floating around. And Transformers has a lot of lore to it. So, of course, they have 14 different ideas. And some of these ideas can be like, let's do an Optimus Prime solo movie. Oh, the second idea can be, let's do an Optimus Prime solo movie with Bumblebee as his sidekick. Like, these ideas can be like 5 of the same, but just a little bit different, you know?
Sure.
So, It's not like they have 5 completely different ideas for Transformers films. Who knows? They could, but we don't really know. So, this is not a surprise to me. It's just, it blows my mind that, like, certain films are, it doesn't matter what the critics say.
Oh,
like the Transformers films, doesn't matter. But, like, let's say, like a Suicide Squad, right? Like, if Suicide Squad was as beloved as Civil War, it would have made a lot. It would have made $1 billion at the box office.
Look at Batman v Superman.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Batman v Superman. How does a Batman v Superman movie not make $1 billion at the box office? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because of the critical reaction.
Yes.
So why does Transformers, which is freaking 1/10 of a movie, maybe even more so, of Batman v Superman, but it makes $1 billion every single time, no matter what? I mean, a lot of it has to do with foreign markets, obviously.
And the first couple films have been fun. I mean,
well, the first one, I like the first one.
The first one definitely, but the second and third one, there's like there's some fun to be had with those movies, and I think audiences know that now. So that's why, they go in and watch these movies, because it's more family friendly. Whereas Batman v Superman, there's themes in there and stuff.
I get that. I understand that. I mean, I could see why a parent would want to take their kid to a Transformers movie and not a Batman v Superman movie.
Right.
That makes a lot of sense. But it's just crazy. So one, shining light in all of this is that the director of Kubo and the Two Strings, Travis Knight, is directing the Bumblebee spin-off movie. Mm-hmm. And as much as you can like a robot car character in a movie, I've liked Bumblebee more than any other Transformer in the movies. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really cool how he talks through playing songs. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And everybody loves Bumblebee.
Of course,
I'm not the first one. So, getting this director, because Kubo and the Two Strings is a phenomenal film.
Yeah, one of the best.
Did you
movies.
see it?
I didn't watch it, but I heard a lot of great things.
Yeah,
actually, that's next on my list.
Well, I remember you mentioned it like in one of your articles, is like films that didn't get appreciated as much as they should have last year, and you're so right about that. It's so good, and the voice acting, Charlize Theron, Matthew McConaughey, is so good. I was blown away by that movie, and this guy, where that movie focused on characters and relationships and character development and story, is directing the Bumblebee film. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. And that gives me hope. Like, I will never have my eye on a Transformers movie. Like, I'm looking forward to that this year. Never. But I will be looking forward to that Bumblebee movie because of Travis Knight.
Yes, sir.
And that's crazy. But yeah, 14 movies. Man, I mean, I'm sure every cinematic universe has 14 ideas.
14 ideas, yeah.
You never know. All right, so It was nearly a decade ago, but the tragic passing of Heath Ledger still feels like it was yesterday. Ledger, who has a list of roles in films one could choose from, wasn't just known for his incredible talent in front of the camera, but for his kind-hearted soul that touched everyone on a daily basis. And that still lives on today. What many didn't know about the actor is that he liked to record his life through the lens of his very own camera, and now, thanks to Spike TV, we get an inside look at that very footage with the feature-length documentary titled I Am Heath Ledger, which will be in select theaters on April 23rd. Man, this just warms my heart that we're getting this documentary, because I remember when The Dark Knight came out, or I remember like the months leading up to The Dark Knight, like 8 months, 6 months before, and I was so excited. I was in high school, I was in 10th grade, and I was just telling everybody, like, you gotta watch, like, I was just talking about it every single day. I was so excited because I loved Batman Begins, and just those trailers, the Joker, I would quote the trailers word for word, and mostly because of the Joker, like, it was incredible, and I had the Joker t-shirt, everything. He passed away, and I was like, that's horrible, like, this movie hasn't even came out yet, and you can already tell this performance is special, and then it happened, and I was just like, I was so upset. I don't, like, other than Carrie Fisher, which is a whole other level, but that was probably the most upset I ever was over a celebrity dying.
Right.
And the fact that he recorded a lot of his life on camera, and we're going to be able to see it, is awesome. Like, this is a celebration of this supposedly kind-hearted man and this guy who was very passionate about what he did. And we get to see it on film. I can't wait to see this, honestly.
Yeah, Heath Ledger is a much beloved actor, you know, and we all know his work, but it's really, you know, behind the camera, in his personal, private life, that we're really going to get an inside look at the man we've all heard, you know, nothing but great things from. And I think for me, that's the biggest takeaway, the biggest draw, is that I'm going to get to know the guy who's made all these incredible movies, done all these incredible roles, and we're going to get a real look inside his personal life, and, you know, just who he is as a person beyond an actor. And I just find that so fascinating. I'm a big fan of Heath Ledger. We're all familiar with the diverse roles he's taken throughout his career, whether it's a Knight's Tale, 10 Things I Hate About You, A Brokeback Mountain, The Dark Knight. List goes on. Monsters Ball. List goes on and on and on. And there was nothing that this guy could not do. And he was taken from us too early. And this will be another way to honor Heath Ledger, an actor who, his death was almost a decade ago.
Like, when I read that, I couldn't believe it.
Almost a decade ago.
Well, think about it.
And he's still talked about very much.
I think he might have... Did he die in 2008 before the movie came out?
He died in 2000 and...
If he died in 2007, then that's a decade ago. I mean, it's
I'm going to look at...
It's 9 years plus,
right.
You know?
No, I think it was January of 2008.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I had to watch Brokeback Mountain for my film class. And if you don't mind the content that it's presenting to you, I definitely recommend checking it out, because it is a fantastic movie. And that was Heath Ledger's first Oscar nomination, was for Brokeback Mountain. And then he obviously won for The Dark Knight. But he was great in that movie for sure.
Yes, sir.
Alright, so since the announcement that Ciarán Hinds would be voicing Steppenwolf in Justice League, we've heard close to nothing about the debut villain for the long-awaited Justice League movie. Well, now, thanks to Hinds himself, we have a little insight into what kind of bad guy we'll be seeing the team face off against later this year. Quote, he's old, tired, still trying to get out of his own enslavement of Darkseid, but he has to keep on this line to try and take over the world. Directed by Zack Snyder and starring Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, and Jason Momoa, and Ezra Miller, Justice League is released on November 14th, 2017. Gio, is this the kind of villain we want for this first Justice League movie?
Absolutely. I mean, you want somebody who is powerful enough that it'll take, all the heroes of the DC world, well, at least 7 of them, to come together and help take down. But you also want a villain that you can relate to. You know, I make the argument that Doomsday Doomsday by itself and Batman v Superman, or Doomsday as a character, is not someone you can very much relate to, because he's pretty much just all he does is destroy. That's it. But why does he? Just cause? Okay. But the way they handled him in Batman v Superman, making General Zod Doomsday, for me, did a lot, because it made General Zod's fall even more, impactful. That his remains was turned into this monster creature that couldn't be controlled. And so in my opinion, the DCEU, notwithstanding Suicide Squad, has done a pretty great job with their villains. Lex Luthor, General Zod, Doomsday. I think Steppenwolf will be right up there with him. And I like Syrian Hines. I've only seen him in Game of Thrones, but he definitely had a presence in his limited role. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. And we'll see. I love what I'm hearing.
I actually love this. I love the line that he's trying to get out of his own enslavement to Darkseid, because, and it might not be a literal enslavement. It could be a psychological or a fear of Darkseid. Like he's being controlled by Darkseid, not like mind control, but he's like, I'm gonna kill you if you don't obey every word I say. And let's not forget that Steppenwolf isn't physically taking on the Justice League by himself. He's bringing an army of parademons, and we've seen in the trailer, which I am so excited for, is an army of parademons fighting Amazonians and Atlanteans and the Justice League. Like
that's a pretty big scale.
If that delivers, this could be one of the best comic book movies of all time. Mm-hmm. If that delivers, because look, Avengers is my second favorite movie of all time, hands down, superhero, anything, no matter what. And I love it. And we have 6 heroes fighting this Chitauri army and Loki, right? Their Justice League is doing something different. They're going to do a full-out war with almost equal amount of bodies.
Yeah.
And this is a guy who directed 300. So
he knows how to do war.
So the more I've watched that trailer and the more I've had to think about that trailer, I'm getting more and more and more excited for Justice League. I can't wait, honestly. And Jason Momoa is, even though I love Ezra Miller, I love Wonder Woman, I love Ben Affleck, obviously, but Jason Momoa is a standout to me. I just love when he's on top of that Batmobile. He's like, yeah. And he's like ready to go.
Yeah.
But anyways, Steppenwolf sounds great. You know what it reminds me of in a different way? It reminds me of Loki, because, look, Loki, yes, he's the villain, right? But he had motives.
Yes.
He wanted to make fools of the Avengers. And it ultimately comes from his hatred towards his brother, or jealousy towards his brother. Mm-hmm. Like, he still loves Thor.
Yeah. He
doesn't necessarily want Thor to die. And, like, even when he, like, stabs Thor on top of the Stark Tower, he knows that's not going to kill him. So, and this could be a very different situation where this guy, Steppenwolf, he's not a good guy, but he's his own being, and he's struggling with, like, damn, I gotta get away from Darkseid, but I still have to follow what he's telling me to do, like, in the meantime, and I'm gonna figure out my own way to spin things in my own interest, and I think that's what we're gonna get.
Yeah.
And I love that line that he said about the getting out of Darkseid's enslavement. Like, it makes me really look forward to the villain, which I wasn't really looking forward to the villain, because I don't know much about him or anything like that. So
yeah.
Before this, I didn't have anything to go off of, and now I do. So that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so in our lone official trailer of the day, we get our first look at the new film Chuck, which stars Liev Schreiber, telling the true story of Chuck Wepner, the man who inspired the Rocky franchise. The film follows the local Jersey boxing hero through the rise and fall of his career and boxing life, as well as the redemption that followed. Also starring Naomi Watts, Elizabeth Moss, and Ron Perlman, Chuck opens on May 5th, 2017. Now, I've heard of this guy, but I didn't know anything about him, and I actually really like this trailer.
Yeah.
Liev Schreiber's great. I think he deserves more leading roles. He has a very strong presence on screen. Naomi Watts is one of these actresses where, like, she's amazing. Mm-hmm. But, like, she doesn't ever get the lead role. She's always the supporting role. Mm-hmm. But she's Oscar worthy. I don't know if does she have an Oscar yet? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
But she's gonna have one when it's all set. One of these days, she's going to have one pretty soon. I can almost guarantee it. But if she doesn't have one already, I probably sound like an idiot. But I love this trailer. I think it's really cool that like he regained fame because of Rocky.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of cool. But I feel like there's this darkness to this movie that the trailer didn't necessarily show yet. But I feel like there's a dark side to this movie.
Oh yeah.
And I'm curious as to what that is. But I'm looking forward to the film for sure.
Yeah, you and me both, man. I mean, Rocky, we all know how great of a film, and, you know, it's a classic. You know, it won Best Picture, I believe, in either 76 or 77. But now we get to learn about the man who, you know, that beloved masterpiece was based off of, you know, and who better to play it than Liv Schreiber. I totally agree with you. He doesn't get enough roles in Hollywood. He is a leading man in Ray Donovan, the TV show on Showtime.
Which everyone loves that show. I need to watch it. Everyone tells me to watch it.
Yeah. So, you know, as a fan of Rocky, definitely interested in this. I love the cast. And in the trailer so far, I love that, you know, it's everything that we recognize through the Rocky movies. You know, he's a fighter. He has a lot of heart. He's also, you know, a person who's lost, you know, but he never gives up. You definitely see where the inspiration came from. When Stallone wrote Rocky. So I don't think this will take away from anything that movie's done or what Stallone's done. It's just more of an insight, you know, into the character Chuck. So
yeah, and I think it's a story that deserves to be told, honestly. Yeah. And it's funny, like I don't know if it was the poster or the logo or something. It says Chuck, the real story of Rocky Balboa or something like that. The true story.
Real life, yeah.
Yeah, which, I mean, I guess if you just put out a movie called Chuck, no one's going to know what it is. But if you add that little tagline, it'll get people to go watch it for sure.
It's like, huh, yeah.
Alright, so while it's believable that Thanos could take on the Avengers by himself, we've always wondered just which characters could become allies with the Mad Titan in next year's Avengers Infinity War. Well, thanks to the new batch of set photos, we may have an answer to that very question. While not confirmed, the new look seems to reveal that Corvus Glaive, I don't know how to pronounce his name, and the Black Order will be in cahoots with Thanos, making the inevitable showdown with the MCU's finest that much more interesting. For those of you who don't know, the Black Order is a group of Thanos' most trusted and ruthless servants, which includes characters such as Proxima Midnight, Black Dwarf, and of course, Corvus Glaive. Directed by Joe and Anthony Russo, Avengers Infinity War is set to be released on May 4th, 2018. Gio, I don't know much about this character or the Black Order. I'm sure you don't as well, unless you've done some research, but how do you feel knowing that we're going to get some of pretty much Thanos' henchmen in this movie?
A little bummed, honestly, because I was so set on the idea of other MCU villains coming back for Infinity War, and some of these heroes having to reface or, you know, visit their past once again. You know, whether it be a Red Skull, this time the Cosmic Skull, you know, powered by one of the Infinity Stones, the Abomination, or even Loki. Who knows how Ragnarok ends up? Or who's the guy in Doctor Strange? Well, I always forget his name. Khaleesi?
Something like that.
Khaleesi, yeah. But I don't know. I don't know much about these characters. I wish I could tell you. Judging by these motion captures, they look like they're going to be. Well, maybe some of them are going to be like these big, you know, creatures, you know, figures. Maybe not the size of Thanos, but, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly don't know what to expect. All I know is that, you know, Marvel, they've done a superb job with their motion capture, with the help of Andy Serkis, of course. So, I'm very curious to see what comes of this.
Yeah, I don't know much about these characters, but I do think it's cool that I don't want an army of mindless aliens.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've seen that multiple times. We've seen it in the first Avengers. Age of Ultron, mindless robots. I don't want that. I would much rather see, if we're going to do this, I would much rather see 3 or 4 very strong villains where 5 Avengers have to take one of these guys on by themselves. That's way better than an army of 1,000 aliens that Cap could take on 20 of them by himself, you know?
Yeah.
So I would much rather see that. I do think it works story-wise if Thanos already has this group with him,
right,
rather than having the movie explain, all right, I went and got Abomination, I went and grabbed Red Skull, I went and grabbed Loki. I actually think, and it hasn't been confirmed, has Tom Hiddleston been confirmed for Avengers Infinity War?
I don't think he has, no.
I mean, that doesn't mean we won't see him. I could see, unless Loki dies before then, I could see Loki fighting on the opposite side of Thanos in this. Because, look, as much as Loki has his own self-interest in mind, he doesn't want the universe to be taken over by some guy who thinks he should be in control, you know?
Because then there's no universe to run.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I could see Thor being like, look, do you really want the universe to perish as we know it? And Loki's going to be like, you're right. And if Loki's on their side, like if we counted Loki, if we pit Loki up against the rest of the heroes, he's one of the most powerful out of all of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it would help to have Loki on your side. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what's going to end up happening, unless Loki does something in Thor Ragnarok that makes him totally unredeemable or he dies. But I like this idea that, like I said, it's going to be 3 or 4 big villains that the Avengers, like 5, 6, 7, or 8 of the Avengers have to take on, because there's going to be 30 heroes in this movie. Mm-hmm. So they can't all be taking on Thanos. Like, just action-wise, it's not going to look right, you know?
Yeah.
But you guarantee we're going to see Iron Man, Cap, Spider-Man, Star-Lord taking on Thanos or something. Or probably Doctor Strange. I mean, you're going to need, like, Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, the Hulk, characters like that to fight Thanos. Because who's going to physically take on Thanos?
Right. No, you're right.
And one thing that makes me think of, like, Gamora and Drax have a lot more motivation to take on Thanos than, let's say, any of the Avengers characters. So maybe the Guardians play a bigger part in Infinity War than I think.
So, yeah.
So, but overall, I like this. I don't know much about the characters. I do plan on reading up on them, though. After reading this, I'm going to go out of my way to read some Thanos Black Order stuff, for sure. Alright, so among the many questions we hope Ridley Scott's Alien Covenant will answer about the Alien franchise, we hope the Prometheus follow-up will answer just what happened to Noomi Rapace's Dr. Elizabeth Shaw. While that question isn't answered quite yet, the most recent set of footage released for Scott's film hints at what happened and what she may have discovered. Starring Michael Fassbender, Catherine Waterston, Danny McBride, and Billy Crudup, Alien Covenant hits theaters on May 19th, 2017. Gio, what did you think of the new footage, and how much of a role are you hoping Rapace's character plays?
Oh, finally, something that's caught my interest with Alien Covenant. Noomi Rapace. She was so good as Elizabeth Shaw in Prometheus. Like, I don't think she gets enough credit. But we see her tags, right? They're just, hanging right there on the ship, right? But it doesn't give us any real concrete explanation. Some theories have said that her character died during the crash, and David, Michael Fassbender, his character experimented on her. Because we know how David is. He's so fascinated by these creatures. He wants to learn more about them. Unless I'm mistaken.
No.
Am I?
I'm not too familiar with Prometheus. I've seen it once.
Yeah, Prometheus. Well, I've seen it more recently. But, very recently I've kind of bought into Alien Covenant a little bit. Just because I've realized now that it'll be a little bit of aliens, which I love, in Alien, which I really liked, but I mean, because I saw Aliens first, I think that kind of set the bar for me, a more of an action movie. But the fact that it's going to be like some of these characters are actually like trained combat people, and some of these characters in Alien Covenant. So I bought into Alien Covenant more. I definitely want to see what happened to Elizabeth Shaw, the Noomi Rapace character. but I also don't want it to take up too much of the story. Just give us some closure.
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of the Alien movies. Not that I don't recognize them as classics or quality films.
Yeah.
That they obviously are, but it was never like one of my top 10 franchises, you know?
Sure.
And I've seen Prometheus once. I enjoyed Prometheus. I did enjoy it, but I didn't love it. I don't know the entire lore of it. But one thing I did like was Noomi Rapace. And I like her as an actress, so I remember when this movie was first announced and we heard she wasn't going to be in it. Like, if this is a direct sequel, why isn't she in it? But I guess it's cool because I like Catherine Waterston, so if she's going to be the lead, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I just, what I think is going to happen is they're going to come across her ship, they're going to find her tags, and they're going to open some video files of her documenting her first experiences on this planet, and then they're going to see a video of her getting killed by an alien or something like that, you know? So that's cool. And I'm happy with this this footage because at least we're getting something on her. If they just completely didn't acknowledge her, then that would be stupid, in my opinion.
Right.
One thing I keep thinking about and I'm so intrigued by is, so I'm assuming that Michael Fassbender's physical appearance is what all of the androids look like in this universe.
Yeah. Because
obviously the one that goes on the Covenant ship with them to this planet is not the same David from the movie from Prometheus.
Yeah.
So the David from Prometheus is still on the planet, or he's dead. Whatever.
No, I think he's still there, but yeah.
And this one that's on the ship with them is a different one. Yeah. He's a different android.
Yeah.
But they just all have that physical appearance. So am I correct on that?
Yes. Okay. But the new Michael Fassbender character, what's his name?
I have no idea.
All right, so he has a name, but he's the upgraded model.
Oh, I would assume so, because this is like, who knows how long it is. I mean, it seems like decades later, but... So I'm intrigued with that. And I'm sure we're going to get a lot of information through David, honestly. But I'm way more excited for this movie than I ever thought I would be. And, like, 70% of that is the alien on top of that ship cracking his head into the windshield. I love that visual so much. And then it looks up and it's like, ah! Like, I don't know why I'm so excited for this movie. Like, it's crazy. I never thought I would be.
It's like, come on, y'all, use your windshield wipers, man. Get that motherfucker out of there.
But that's terrifying. It is. Oh my goodness. Alright, so going back to Take One, Leave One this week, finally. So, our lone matchup of the day includes newly released character posters for two of May's biggest movies, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales. James Gunn's Marvel sequel tries to even outmatch the success of the original, while Pirates 5 tries to get Disney's swashbuckling franchise back on track. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 Volume 2 hits theaters on May 5th, and Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales on May 26th. Gio, have you got a chance to check out these posters? And if so, which ones are you taking? Which ones are you leaving?
Yeah, I have. Before I clicked on any of them, I thought I would buy the Pirates of the Caribbean because I'm just so excited for this next movie. But I looked at these posters and half of them look stupid. Like, Javier Bardem's poster, like, I get it, his character it kind of floats as if he's in the water, but like on air. But it looks off, you know. And then the posters of the new people who I thought in the trailer kind of turned me off. You know, I guess one of them.
Wait, so you're telling me that girl turns you off?
I don't really whatever. I mean, like, you know, in the trailer she was annoying.
I'm just playing, but she's an attractive woman. I love that shot on the beach when they make sure you see her cleavage. Oh. Every time. Every single time.
Well, you know, I mean, it's you know.
No, I don't mind. It's all good.
But, yeah, I mean, I gotta take the Guardians of the Galaxy. They look fun. They're very colorful. I love the art. The poses that they do. You know, I'm so ready for that movie. It's gonna be awesome. So I take Guardians.
These Pirates posters look stupid as hell.
Yeah,
like,
don't they?
Oh my god!
Look at Javier Bardem.
Look, I think I said from the beginning I don't like the look of Javier Bardem. Is a great actor. I do not like the look of him. Why can't he just be like? I don't want his face moving this whole movie.
It might work in the movie.
It might. I might be wrong, but I don't want that. I want to see him act, and we're going to see him act.
We're gonna see him.
But I just don't. In this poster,
you don't want it to be a distraction.
Yeah,
his face floating.
Yeah, no, it's disturbing, and I don't like these young actors. I mean, I take for granted. I don't know these young actors.
Yeah,
but I just so far I don't like the vibe of them.
Yeah, in the trailer they were just like, show me Will Turner.
I'm all down for Johnny Depp. I don't want them to do the stupid comedy Johnny Depp. Like, you can have comedy, but like not make it dumb. Like I talked about before with one of these trailers, I'm not wearing pants or whatever, one of those lines. Like, don't do that. I like the pirate's life. And put down the shot glass or the bottle or whatever. That's cool.
Yeah.
But I don't like the I'm not wearing pants type of stuff. Like, don't do that. Like, take it somewhat seriously. I feel like the first movie did not have that slapstick comedy, like all outrageous Johnny Depp.
The comedy.
He was funny in the movie.
Yes, yeah.
But subtle. I don't want to say subtly, but like it was not over the top. So I'm excited for this movie, but these posters look freaking ridiculous. The Guardians posters, I don't love them. I'm not over the moon about them, but they're way better than these Pirates ones. Like,
yes, they are.
The colors, the visuals look really cool. I would love to have that one with everybody on it in my room.
Yeah.
I can't wait till we get closer to the movie and the posters in Walmart so I can buy it for $4. But yeah, I don't love them, but they're way better than Pirates trailers. Mm-hmm. All right, well, that's going to do it for Apocaflix movie news this week. I want to thank Gio for joining me as always. Let them know where they can find you online, man.
Find me on Twitter at GioRamos24. Check out ApocaflixMovies.com for reviews, editorials, and you can find me at the Arden Theater on Thursday. XD, Fate of the Furious.
Whoa, you're telling people where they are, man. They might come find you.
I have a big bucket of popcorn, and I'm going to have fun.
Yeah, you can find me, Jacob Barley, on Twitter, at JacobBarley_ on Instagram. Rarely plug my Instagram, Jacob Ryan Bartley.
Hey.
But also, just want to start warming people up to the idea that we're going to start having some changes on this YouTube channel. We're considering altering some of the ways we present movie news and stuff like that. We're always going to do our movie reviews as timely as we can, based on the releases of the films. But we are reconstructing the way we're going to go about doing things. We're going to be bringing the Padawan podcast back pretty soon, especially with Star Wars Celebration coming up. I miss the Padawan podcast so much. I love talking Star Wars.
Yeah.
We're considering doing other things with the movie news. We're considering straying away from the weekly movie news podcast at the end of the week and doing something daily. But also, I have in mind, if we do that, we're still going to have a weekly podcast that's based more on, like, we choose a subject, like a theme. Like Tarantino movies or something like that. Or comic book film, top 10 comic book films or something like that. Where it's like, we just choose a theme and we can talk for an hour and a half and not worry about time.
Yes.
While our daily movie news can be like a 10-minute, review of that movie news from that day.
Sure.
Anyways, that's kind of a short preview of what's to come, but I just want to start warming people who listen to this podcast regularly. I'm sure there's a few out there. I want to warm you guys up for the potential of some type of change going on, but it's all good. Trust me, I promise we got this. All right, well, thank you all for